Listen, the past year has not been great for any industry you can think of. Cinemas have shut down, killing the box office budgets for almost every single film studio there is. Meanwhile, television series haven't been in production because of the health hazards. Even restaurants as businesses are getting bankrupted because of 2020. But the gaming industry is the only one that has thrived during these times. Games have taken center stage in human development and entertainment in the past few years, more than ever, especially in 2020. Well, if you thought 2020 was such a good year for gaming, let us tell you all about these 10 games that are coming out in 2021. But before we start today's list, make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit the bell button so you'll never miss a video of us again. Number 10. Ashes of Creation. Kicking off this list with Ashes of Creation just felt right. The game has to be one of the most ambitious MMORPGs in the fantasy genre to date. And with the leaps in technology and the jumps it has gotten recently after going through a long and tedious development hell, the release of this game doesn't feel like just a dream anymore. To those unfamiliar with the game, the developers Intrepid Studios' ambitious open-world MMORPG features a dense player-driven world with a very interesting node system which will let players be the creators of the world around them, which means that the world in which you play will be left almost entirely up to you. There are also some other interesting game mechanics, such as this world's ever-changing dynamic engagements and the ability to do castle sieges, where you and your guild can take down another guild's castle and create your own upon the ashes of that castle. Number 9. Horizon Forbidden West. Horizon Forbidden West is the sequel to one of the most popular PS4 titles, Horizon Zero Dawn. The game was a visual and technical marvel for the PlayStation 4 on release, becoming one of their most beloved exclusives. Horizon Forbidden West will carry on the game's legacy by bringing back a ton of RPG elements, such as character customization, weapon customization, crafting components, and action-adventure mechanics, such as mount riding and freestyle movement like climbing and grappling. All of these were combined with a beautiful narrative and an ecstatic open world based in the very distant future after a robot uprising. The game's reception was huge, and there's been a long wait for a sequel, and it's definitely coming in 2021. The game will feature a brand new map and lots more enemy variety. Not to mention, the graphical fidelity will be even better with the PlayStation 5's insanely powerful design. This is a game that we truly can't wait for. Number 8. Prince of Persia: Sands of Time Remake. The Prince of Persia series is one of the oldest video game series to ever exist. Being one of the absolute best platformers when it originally released back in the early 90s, Prince of Persia saw a resurgence in its popularity with the release of Sands of Time in the mid-2000s. The game became a sensation, commanding the attention of every single player out there. So when Ubisoft announced that Prince of Persia: Sands of Time would be getting a remake, everyone and their grandma was on board. The remake is going to have the same story as the original game. However, it will have a complete gameplay overhaul. The classic Persian setting will return in modern graphical fidelity, along with a lot more control of how your character plays. This is truly a game that everyone is waiting for, and Ubisoft has delayed it so they can continue refining the project, which we can all get on board with after the recent images came out. Number 7. Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights is the upcoming installment in the Batman Arkham franchise, helmed by WB Games' Montreal division. The project is under the hands of the developers of Batman Arkham Origins, so you can expect some awesome boss fights. Added that with a 4-person co-op system just expands the flavor of the game completely. The best thing about this game is that it has all of the best things that were in Arkham Knight, but with playable characters from the Bat family, each of which play differently to the last, and have their own set of weapons and unique abilities, a brand new story, along with a complete reimagining of Gotham City, with actual pedestrians in the streets this time around. When I saw the trailer for the first time, all I had to say was, just take my money already. Before we continue with a pretty odd choice, just make sure you fully support us and hit the like button on the bottom right. Number 6. Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is an odd choice, but the list would be incomplete without it being there. The game has been in development hell for over 5 years, so after all that time in the oven, it is bound to be great. The number of teasers and trailers that have released for the game have showcased a beautifully haunting open world, a story with a ton of new face to interact with, and a brutal yet visceral combat design that is bound to stick with us long after we finish playing the game. The game was originally set to release in 2020, but the date was pushed back to 2021 because of delayed development issues due to COVID. However, with 2020 already here, and the game almost fully cooked, our bodies are ready to dive deep into this terrifying world of blood-sucking demons. Number 5. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Ratchet & Clank is a series that can be dated to as back as the release of the original PlayStation 2. And I think it's safe to say that the franchise is here to stay. The game is one of the very best action-adventure platformer games in the genre, and the 2016 remake is what made it such a widely known name. With the remake, the game turned into this experimental land of wacky adventures for the developers to test out their hardware on, with weapons that turn your enemies into sheep or make them break out into a dance, or just straight up make them miniature versions of themselves, and levels that would require that extra bit of computing power. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart will be a game that will really show us what the PlayStation 5 is made of. Number 4. Resident Evil Village. Resident Evil Biohazard changed everyone's opinion on what Resident Evil could be. After a loss of identity that the series went through with its 4th, 5th, and 6th installment, Biohazard set everything back on track. Following in Biohazard's footsteps, Resident Evil Village has already taken over the internet by a storm with its recent trailers revealing the tall woman and her bewitched daughters. We will play as Ethan Winters in this one too, and while we're unsure of how he's part of this story, there's not a shadow of a doubt that this will be a terrifying experience to remember. Number 3. Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite, Microsoft's crown jewel. The game was originally set to release on November 10th with the release of the new generation Xbox consoles. But it has been stuck in somewhat of a development hell for the past few months, and is for now set to release in early to mid-2021. Halo has been one of the biggest franchises in gaming history, period, with fans of Master Chief playing the series since its first installment. The latest entry in the Halo series is being considered as somewhat of a soft reboot to the franchise and leading it back into its roots. Added with a larger world and more non-linear exploration and movement, Halo Infinite is set to be a game-changer for the series, and we'll definitely be picking it up. Number 2. God of War Ragnarok. God of War, a game series that's been there as long as the PlayStation name has been around. Each game has been a topic of discussion for fans for years. God of War 2018 reinvented the series in a brand new light, turning the game into an extremely narrative-heavy third-person action-adventure game, taking away its older platformer roots. God of War Ragnarok has been announced as a PlayStation 5 exclusive somewhere in the year 2021. Though still uncertain, fans have been speculating that Atreus will take the mantle of God of War in this sequel to the long-awaited 2018 Game of the Year. While only time will tell us the answer to that question, time is the main subject of the number 1 game on our list. Number 1. Deathloop. Developer Arcane Studios returns to roots with a brand new intellectual property in Deathloop, a game based on a Groundhog Day scenario where dying results in going back to where you started. You play as Colt, hunt down 8 targets across Black Reef Island while the inhabitants try to stop you from ending the Deathloop. And then there's Juliana, whose sole purpose is to stop Colt. The game is developed by the teams behind the incredible Dishonored games and Prey 2017. Added that with the signature Arcane Studios gameplay is the fact that a friend can play as Juliana in the game and screw over your progress by killing you, and making the experience more fun. Deathloop is about a super cool action character stuck in a time loop on a random island with every single inhabitant trying to kill him. The catch here is that every single time you die, you get sent back to the start almost, so survival is key. Be careful of the enemy assassin that's out to get you too, because she can be player controlled sometimes, and that can really ruin your day if given the opportunity. Alright guys, this was our list of 10 of our most anticipated games that are releasing in 2021. We absolutely cannot wait to play some of these titles, especially Deathloop and Resident Evil Village. Let us know if we missed anything. However, if you do like the content, then make sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon for thorough updates on when we dish out more content, and hit that like button. Bye!